followed my stuff for very long, I hope you've picked up on the fact that I honestly, is it nice having equipment like this? It is so much nicer putting in food plots with big equipment. That said, we do not have to have deep pockets to do this kind of stuff. That is the biggest misnomer there is in this entire business. Yes, equipment like this helps. But Todd Stittelberg, my friend, is about to school us on how you don't have to have tremendously deep pockets to put in food plots.
In my lifetime, I probably have planted more food plots with a four-wheeler and a little pull-behind drag or a pull-behind disc than I have with big equipment. I think the biggest thing to bear in mind is that anything you can do to disturb the soil, get rid of weeds, disturb the soil, and plant, you're going to have a much greater proportion or percentage of the seeds to grow that we're planting. I've went in with a backpack sprayer with Roundup, for example, and sprayed existing vegetation with Roundup. Come back 5 to 7 days later, broadcast our Game Changer clover or our No Sweat or even our trophy clover in some instances. And the seeds are tiny, so they fall down to the ground. As the plants die that I sprayed with Roundup, they fall down to the ground.
Blanketing them nicely.
Yep. They form, kind of forms a moist mulch, and in no time we'll get those seeds to germinate and plants start growing right up through there.
And in the exact scenario you just described, technically you don't even have to come back a week later.
No.
Roundup is a contact herbicide, meaning it has to contact living plant tissue in order for it to be effective. Your trophy clover lasts, what, like 5 years or something?
6 years, yeah. we say.
I'm telling you right now, I get as many years out of that as I want.
Yeah.
Because every single year, all I'm doing is, whether it really needs it or not, I'm going out there before the spring thaw, I'm going ahead and top seeding. If it's a real thick stand, 20% the suggested rate. If it's a weak stand, 50% the suggested rate. Just doing that each spring, doing nothing more than spraying those plots once with a grass-only killer and mowing them once or twice.
It is really important to mow your clover plots. You do kill a lot of annual weeds, by doing that. The other thing is that every time those young clover plants start regrowing, that is when they're at their highest in protein content, energy content, digestibility, so on. So when they're immature, if you will, before they start forming flowers, that's when that plant is really, really sought after by deer. And it's going to give them the greatest nutritional benefit.
Well, and that is the whole point to today's show, Todd. There is a whole bunch of ways to skin this cat, and you really don't have to have big equipment.
Yeah, and the other thing is there's a lot of businesses out there, maybe that is selling tractors and equipment that will rent stuff. They'll rent a no-till drill and a 40, 50, 60 horse tractor, and it doesn't break the bank. There's different soil conservation districts that will allow you to rent out a 7 to 10 foot no-till drill. There's a number of things out there of
resources that
resources,
are available, a lot of people don't realize, but I think we'll both agree the key is be creative. You can't always have the ultimate. So take what you can get.
Oh, good point.
The point of all this is, yes, having big equipment is nice, but it is so far from necessary, it's not even funny. As you pointed out, you can always go out and rent stuff from a whole bunch of different places. You can utilize your neighbors, and at the same time, you can do something as simple as what you did, is go in, and I've done many times myself, go in with a backpack sprayer and a bag of seeds, or a spring burn, or simply frost seed. But there's all sorts of ways to skin this cat. You empower yourself, you go out there and make your reality what you want it to be.